remember talking to one of my friends, and his kids are older than mine, and his kids have began to go off. I think he was on his second kid going off to college or whatever. And he was telling me how much college was costing him and his wife, and the size of the checks he was in the right form at the time. And I
quickly identified myself as someone that's not for that.
No, sir, not me.
I'm not for that.
Hey, it's about time we did this. Welcome to Parenting Uncensored.
Man, sit your dumb ass down.
We're excited to dive into real, honest conversations about raising kids.
You have children.
Yep.
Do you have more than 3?
I might. Ain't no telling.
Okay, that's perfect. That's fair.
As a parent of 3 amazing adults myself, who all went to college and grad school on full scholarships, I want to share what works. We'll be taking a strong stance against ineffective strategies like gentle parenting and others, and focusing on building resilient, successful individuals.
I believe in myself and believe in this shit I'm saying. At some point, I have to make a conscious decision to show it. And either you're going to choose to be excellent and you're going to do better, or you're going to sit your Trump ass down and you're going to keep me in the same shit over and over.
Oh, shit.
Let's come back to that, because I want to talk about trash ass podcasts.
Man.
This platform isn't about just academics, however. It's about preparing our kids for life's challenges from day one and helping them become productive members of society.
Who you are is good enough to become who we're supposed to become. But you got to have that faith and belief in yourself.
Yes, sir. Man, I ain't been this excited since I was in middle school and found my daddy's spare keys to his car. I hope, hey, this might get me in just as much trouble, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Listen. I'm back at it. We're back at it. Teaching every one of you how to raise your children. Oh my God, let's say that one more time. It sounds so offensive. I am here to teach every one of you how to raise your children. I got some great topics today. You know what, before I even get into that, every time I hear myself say, I'm here to teach you how to raise your children, I just hear all the gentle parenters whining in the background. Oh, but we all have a right to raise our children the way we want to. You do. And just like the saying goes, success leaves clues. I got my own saying though. Failure does too. And we got about 25 years of a slaughterhouse of clues from gentle parenting. And it stops. It stops now. It's enough of that. It's enough of that. Got some great topics today, and I even have, better than the topics, I've got great guests, that are joining me today to show you to talk to you, from their perspectives. I've got experts. I shouldn't even call them guests. They're experts. Coming to the stage, I'm going to bring them in. I'm not even going to hesitate. My first guest, I've been impressed since I found out about the gentleman. I'm going to slaughter his name. Attorney Desmond Andrade. And he's going to come on and correct me, and that's cool. I got a producer in my ear too, trying to correct me. Desmond received his JD from North Carolina Central University School of Law. Shout out to NCCU. I don't got nothing to represent them, but yeah, I don't even know how to do the Eagle thing. I think it's one of those. Somebody on here gonna show you how to do it today. Got his JD from North Carolina Central University School of Law, and soon thereafter was serving the people of Broward County, Florida, as a prosecutor for the 17th Judicial Circuit of Florida. That's a lot. And I'm sure if you were a defendant, it looked like even more in the paperwork. a former intern of the famous Willie Gary, Desmond takes great pride in the knowledge and skills that he has acquired in what he affectionately calls, and I quote, the best profession in the world, end quote. Okay, because you do get paid for it. I would say parenting is, but obviously those drafts don't come like they should. Currently a partner in the law with the law offices of Harding and Andretti with 2 locations in North Carolina. So, attorney Desmond, welcome.
What's up, brother? Thank you for having me,
doctor. How you doing today?
I'm blessed, man. I can't complain at all.
That's good. That's good. I want to jump right into it. I know everybody's pressed for time. Congratulations on your new location for your business. I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do there. And as always, if there's anything I can do, reach out for sure. Don't hesitate. I want to jump right in. The platform Parenting Uncensored, and it's capitalized Uncensored for a reason.
Straight up.
Listen, we raising kids around here, right? We ain't hugging. We ain't hugging boo-boos. We ain't putting band-aids on every fall. One of the things that I'm often reminded of just when I study others who are successful and do great things in life. And like I said earlier, success leaves clues. Some of the clues that I've often noticed is the path that they took growing up. If you could just give us a moment and tell us how you got to who you became, what your path was like growing up, maybe even something about your parents, if you feel welcome to do so.
Yeah, for sure. So, a big part of who I am is obviously my parents. I was blessed enough to grow up with my mother and my father. My dad, 20 years in the military. He's also Jamaican. So double strict. Definitely wasn't any censored parenting. Definitely was not any gentle parenting. Thankfully, my dad was also an athlete. He played all Army soccer team, all Armed Forces soccer team. So my brother and I grew up loving the sport that he loved, which was soccer. But more important than the sport itself, he always, from a very young age, had us train with him. We would wake up at 4:00 a.m. do PT with him. He would take us to on base to do training. We would run laps. I recall crying because he would make my brother and I run laps around the track and he would lap us. And as we were crying, he would always say, whatever you do, just don't stop. You can slow down, just don't stop. And I used to hate him saying that to us, but now I repeat that to myself, and believe it or not, I repeat that to my kids. So my mom was a nurturer. She was a lover. She was one that when dad was too tough to come in and give us the hugs and kids that were necessary, kind of that necessary violence. But yeah, as far as the man that I've become, definitely give that to my dad. Things that I really didn't like as much as a kid. As I became a young man and now I'm 40 years old, I understand that was critical.
That's tough. That's that lesson. I can see it as you're saying it. I remember doing the same thing when my son was, I coached Little League for years and for decades even. And when he was 2, he would start coming to my practices, and when he was 2, I was coaching 5 and 6 year olds. He would always say, "Hey, I want to practice. I want to play." I would always tell him, "Nah, can't just play. You got to practice if you want to play." And so when you think you can deal with the practices, then I'll put you on the team. And he actually started the 5 and 6 team at 3. And as soon as he got started, the practices they were kicking him. Right, and they had to come in the gym, run those 20 laps around the gym before they get the jerseys, 20 laps, 20 push-ups, 20 sit-ups before he can get the practice jersey. And because he was so small and underage, he would just get to crying sometimes, running around the court. And I would see like some of the moms that were there, kind of wanting to just come out and hug him and nah. He's on the team. He's gonna do exactly what I'm making your son do. So yeah, that definitely goes a long way. Got a question for you. I'm glad you mentioned you led out with that athletic piece. And I know you also went to college on a play soccer in college as well, right?
Correct. Yep, I went to Barton College, did two in Wilson, North Carolina on the soccer scholarship.
Shout out. One of the prettiest campuses in the entire world. Former Governor Hunt looked out for his hometown for sure.
Yeah.
Got a question. The athletic versus academic scholarship paths. I want you to kind of give me your feedback from your personal experience. I know you got kids that are on their way somehow seeing one of those paths, if not both of those paths. So give me some kind of the pros and cons just as a father and obviously from what I see, even a coach really of your own kids. What do you see the pros and cons of that path?
So I think the benefit of having both options is just that it gives you more options. When I was growing up, and I was a decent student. I never failed a class in my life. I never got a D in my life, but I always that kid would have a couple of C's, right? And I think that if my GPA was higher, it probably would open up some more doors and some more options that I could have taken advantage of when it was time for me to actually choose what school I was going to go play soccer for. I think the balance is, the lower your grades are, the better of an athlete you need to be, right? So as we see, sometimes you have your top athletes that may not have the best grades, but if your grades are going to falter, you got to make sure you're a next level type talent. But if you're that athlete that's a good athlete, you can definitely play on the collegiate level, but you're not necessarily the one who has the metric that shoot out the roof. You kind of need that academic component, because then schools can say, hey, he's a good athlete, but I really need to get this athletics to a guy who's an amazing athlete but doesn't have the academics. If I can give Desmond the academic scholarship, or maybe a half and half, then that gives me more money that I can give a kid who needs just that full athletic, right? So having the academic component, and we're speaking just from the scholarship perspective, a ton of other layers, but from the scholarship perspective, if you have a high academic and the coach can get you in on the academic scholarship, that gives you just more options to potentially play on a higher level, because they don't have to waste one of those athletic scholarships on you, which is just a benefit. Sure.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's something that is never talked about a lot publicly, right? When you hear people saying, yeah, my kids, he's gonna get a scholarship to college for this, or a scholarship to college for that. I remember when my own son was playing lacrosse early on in life, and he was excelling. And I remember at that time, one of his travel coaches, he was playing probably a couple years up. One of his travel coaches that summer was a current Georgetown University lacrosse player. And he was kind of pulling him to the side saying, hey, from what I see already, you got a good shot at this thing and the whole nine. But one of the things he shared was, because, then I pull him to the side and like, hey, tell me a little bit more about how this lacrosse thing goes. And especially, as far as scholarships. And he shared, okay, so there aren't any full-time scholarships just for lacrosse, right? He said there may be like 5 or 10 in the entire nation. And like, there was this joke at the time, because there was like this family of boys that all were going to University of Denver like year after year after year. And so his joke was like, hey, this might be like 5 full-time lacrosse scholarships, and the such and such family got all of them.
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean? And then I got to talking I had a friend of mine that was athletic director one time at a Pac-10 school, and he shared with me that he kind of gave me the story about track and baseball. Like, yeah, it ain't hardly anybody here on a full athletic scholarship. And that's something that if you're coming from outside in, you got no idea, because you're just used to hearing people saying, yeah, I went to school for this, I went to school for that. So I'm glad you mentioned that. From your perspective, what are some of the things that parents of student athletes should know about recruiting and maintaining scholarships? And I guess you can kind of share this from your own journey as going that way, and now as you see that landscape has changed and you're working with your own kids.
It's changed completely. I graduated high school in 2002. So I was in college from 2004 to 2000. I'm sorry, 2002, 2006. But yeah, it's changed drastically. But I think even then, what I wish I would have known is that to be more proactive in getting yourself out and making sure that coaches know who you are, whether it be the tapes, whether that be just calling and being more active in your recruitment process. That wasn't something I was engaged in when I was a kid, and I wish I would have been. I think I could have also had some more opportunities through that avenue. So today's day and age, parents are doing a great job leveraging social media and being a lot more hands-on in regards to where their kids end up getting looks at. And I think that's the number one thing. Obviously, you have to have a good package to be able to market to these coaches through social media or however. Kids with solid grades, obviously have to be good athletes and have a good visual component to market. But I think just being active and really pushing yourself to these coaches, because if you're not one of these top recruits that are getting noticed on a high level, it's going to be on you to make sure that you give you, your village, your friends, family, you can send highlight reels out. I mean, so to me, it's just being active and really taking the bottom line in that regard and making sure that you get your athlete in front of as many eyes as possible. It only takes one, right?
Right, exactly. I'm being told I got 2 minutes left with you, and I got to get one question in. I want to give you an opportunity to give us some spill about your business as well.
No, let me work my business, man. Hard to drop Let's talk.
We ain't gonna worry about it. We're gonna be intentional about it. But quick question, quick answer. Raising high-performing kids without burning them out. What is the solution? Because obviously, if your dad is, not to be stereotypical, but Jamaican and military and athlete, I'm sure from a child's perspective, you've got a different perspective on how to avoid burnout, and now as a parent. So kind of give us something on that, and then I might cut you off so I can get you to tell me about the business.
No, I think you just have to make it a part of their lifestyle, man. The habits that are needed to be a high achiever are things that you have to build into the fabric of their everyday life, right? It just has to be a lifestyle. So those things, whatever habits you want to name, you can waste time or spend time rather naming all the habits that need to be successful. You just have to build that into the fabric of who they are and what they do on a daily basis. And if you do that, it's not like you're taking them away from their natural element to work on becoming a high achiever. The habits to become a high achiever are just what they're used to, and that's built into the fabric of their everyday life. So you can't get burnt out.
That's tough, and that's good information to pass on. I'm going to give you an opportunity and us an opportunity to hear about this, but I want you to tell us what your business is and give us any social media handles. I don't know if you guys do text, emails, DMs, whatever, but I want people to know how to reach you.
All right, that's timely. So Hardin and Andrade, we're a law firm here in Durham, North Carolina, and the office also in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And this is extremely timely because as we approach Valentine's Day, we're actually doing a raffle with 2 VIP Kevin Hart tickets here at Durham Performing Arts Center. So the handle you need to know is Hardin Andrade on Instagram. Hardin Andrade on Instagram. If you go check our page out, you'll get instructions on what you need to be entered into the raffle to win 2 VIPs for the money on these tickets, y'all. So go ahead and get into the raffle. But we're a personal injury law firm. We provide amazing legal representation. Our website and our social media pages do a great job of providing practical content for our viewers to look at and know how to handle accidents and things related to auto accidents and slip and falls when they happen. We're very intentional about providing information to the community. Of course, we want you to hire us if it arises. The more relevant on our pages, we make sure we give you information that you need to know to make sure you don't fall in the bag whenever you get injured. Yeah, for sure.
So give us, looks like the website is up there. Give us those social media handles again.
Yep, Harding Andrade, HARDING ANDRADE. My partner Nick, his name is William Harding. So Harding Andrade on Instagram and also on Facebook, and that's me there. Suited up, ready to go to war.
Looking sharp, looking sharp. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me. Great topic.
No, thank you for sure, for sure. We're gonna let you slide. I appreciate you jumping in, Doc. Take care.
You as well. Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm. Man, we have been touched. That was good. That was good. I felt all of that. I felt all of that. So listen, as we begin to progress, I want to take an opportunity to shout out a couple people. One, I'm actually about to bring up soon. Dr. Omar Simpson. Omar has spent, God, at least, you know what? Let me not freelance. Let me just read what I was given. Dr. Omar Simpson has served as a professor and higher education administrator for over 15 years. He has led and managed student success programs and initiatives at several prestigious universities. In addition, he has taught undergraduate and graduate courses at Johns Hopkins University, University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and Stockton University. Dr. Simpson's interdisciplinary research and practice focuses on educational access, college first-year experience. Man, I had a hell of a college first-year experience. Student belonging and success, and equity in education. He holds multiple degrees, including a PhD in education, concentration in culture, curriculum, and change from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I heard it sounds like the brother I'm bringing up is a doctor of the culture. Hey, what else could we ask for? Dr. Simpson, welcome, 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 welcome.
My good brother, my good brother.
How you doing?
Man, you know I'm great. I'm great.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I want to
hear
jump
me
in.
good.
Yeah. Your vocals are good. I was assuming that the producers had got you straight. If you hadn't heard anything, you just got them in trouble. I want to jump straight in because I know I don't got a lot of time with you or our next guest, and I know I want to get you both here so we can start peppering these questions. But one, let's just start out and focus on yourself. Obviously, this is a platform that's about education, raising kids right, but that doesn't start as a parent until you obviously come through the child's perspective yourself. And a lot of what we do as parents is we formulate how we're going to be a parent based on how our parents treated us and how things happened growing up. So if you could kind of give us an idea of what your path was like, you coming up. You were from Newark, is it Newark, New Jersey?
South Jersey.
South Jersey. Okay. Yeah, give us some background about and help us understand a little bit more about who produced Dr. Omar.
For sure. So, originally from South Jersey, right across the bridge from Philly. You know, just in this moment right now, before the Super Bowl, the Eagles is about to go win that thing. If we don't win that thing, this part out. So from South Jersey, I always say, hey, don't be laughing at me. Always, I am single parent household, raised by my mom, who loved dearly, did an incredible job making sure I had the resources and things I needed to be successful. I always say, I grew up poor. I say we were so poor we couldn't afford to own an arm. We were just go. And for me, education was always the thing that I saw that can change my situation. One of the great things that my mom did was encyclopedias at home. And for those who don't know, I always say, Google before Google, just actual straight books. with just tons of information. My mom had a set of them in the home. I used to read them all the time. Every those meetings, encyclopedias. I just love to learn, just love information, and that just sparked my mind and sparked my growth in education, and just took it forward. Just love learning, and took that all the way through. And just I hear the feedback.
So, couple things you brought back some memories. You talking about those encyclopedias on the shelves.
What you know about that?
Man, come on.
Young fella, what you know about that?
Listen, when you said they were encyclopedias before Google, I'm used to telling people I was Google before Google because my grandmother was an elementary school teacher, and she had Encyclopedia Britannica. She had because well, I don't know if you know, but there was the good encyclopedias, and then you had the encyclopedias, right? The ones like
you got a hierarchy of encyclopedias.
Come on, man, listen. Hey, I found out later on as I got older that so if I had a question, it was like, go look it up in the encyclopedia.
Yes.
And don't get the good encyclopedia, right? Well, I found out as I got older that the good encyclopedias was on a payment plan. And grandma wasn't risking.
We didn't have those.
Grandma wasn't risking me messing up those good encyclopedias that weren't even paid for yet. But that was back in the day, man. The encyclopedia dude would come around and collect the come around every month or every week or whatever and collect the payment on the encyclopedia. So yeah, man, listen, I am a listen. I would get in trouble, and my grandma would give me a topic and make me go copy word for word out the encyclopedia. That was the punishment, but it definitely was helpful. Definitely was helpful. Before we get into some of the questions we have for you, I've just been told that we have a clip that they want to run. And so we're going to go with that first, and then we'll come right back. I'm waiting on direction. Okay.
Today is your day to win. You are a winner. Embrace being a winner. Win the day. Win the day. Today is your day to win.
Every student wants to be successful. Oftentimes I hear people say, so-and-so, he just wants to fail. No, he doesn't. Not at all.
Right? For you to find your purpose, you need to seek opportunities to serve. The question is, how do you want to serve? How do you want to leave a lasting impact, a lasting legacy on this earth? Not what you want to be. That's how you'll be successful, is by serving. That's how you'll leave a lasting impact, by serving, by those who you help and support. And many people tell me all the time, the reason why they haven't found their purpose because they're waiting on God. No, 2/3 of God's name is go, meaning action. He's waiting on you. He's giving you all the resources. He's giving you all the talent. He's giving you all the ideas. Now it's your turn to actually go out there and do. The time is now. The time is now. And people say, Omar, how are you so motivated? How are you so inspired? That's
for me, it was very inspiring. It was very, he motivated me a lot.
He's a great athlete.
What I see from my family, and I say every morning I wake up, I know that every morning is a gift. Every sunshine is a gift. I'm blessed to wake up every day. And I'm motivated to leave a lasting impact each and every day. For me, success is a lifestyle.
Doc, come on. Two-thirds.
Got me pumped up, yes, sir.
2/3 of the word God is go. Come on, what are you talking about? What you talking about?
Let's
Okay,
go.
okay. I
Let's
see what
go.
we're doing. I see
You ain't
what
telling
we're
us
doing.
doing that.
Hey, you know what? It was so easy not to tell you because I didn't know. So we all get a little surprise here and there. I do want to go ahead and throw out something since we're on this education piece. The blueprint for full ride scholarships. And I know that's a heavy lift, and people are always talking about it and in search of it and doing everything possible to achieve it. How can a child, or how would a parent help position their child for academic scholarships?
Man, that's heavy. You know this well. That's not an easy question, nor there's definitely not an easy answer. I mean, the answer is multifaceted in so many different ways. I can give a couple of quick things practical things that I think any parent can make sure that they do or they're aware of to at least put their kid or their child in the best position to receive a scholarship. One, and I think you mentioned this earlier. It starts very early. Like I've seen some they get to 11th grade and they're like, yeah, now I'm ready to get after it. You know, I'm trying to go to college and I'm trying to get a scholarship. You know, I want to get a full ride. It's like, all right, it's possible, but we're a little late. It's best to start early. I think you might have mentioned before about like that middle school, even elementary school, of starting to build certain habits and getting involved in certain things. One of the biggest things that I'll speak to directly from my research, I did some work with young men who were high achievers at a particular college or university. And high achievers meaning like they 3.8, 3.9 GPAs on a phenomenal scale. So guys who were getting after it. And I remember asking them, you know, what is it that really worked for you early on? What got you going as far as getting you positioned for education, getting you positioned for scholarships, etc. And they all talk about early exposure, specifically programs that they were in middle school. Things such as summer programs at different colleges, you know, weekend programs at different schools. Like the earlier, better, the earliest that you can get your child into some type of program at some college or university, get them exposed to college life, college experience, getting around other smart kids, seeing how they operate and seeing themselves in that space with them is huge. And it's easy to find that most colleges have different programs like this. You can easily just punch in any of the colleges in your area, you know, programs for middle school students or high school students or summer programs, and get your child in those programs. That's the biggest difference.
In your experience, what are some of the, and this is probably going to be easier than the first question, what are some of the most common mistakes that parents make when preparing their kids for scholarships?
What? There's a few ways that I could go. And we know parents don't make mistakes, right? You ain't make no mistakes. No mistakes. Parents don't make mistakes.
Hey, listen. Parenting is about fumbling the ball forward. That's what you hope happens. You hope it doesn't hit that tip and bounce back that way. That's all. For sure.
Home team recovery. That's all that counts.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna say parents make mistakes, right? I'm gonna just say some things that they might want to think about. One thing, like from a more narrative standpoint, then I'll give something practical. One common mistake that I've seen working with students at colleges and universities. This is how working with high school students. Many have lost the desire to compete. And I've seen parents so often, you know, that and I think you mentioned something earlier about not coddling, and this is like parenting. we talking about real deal parents. I see so much parents want to give the, as they say, the participation trophy or keep their kids away from competition, thinking that they're saving them or putting them in the best position to do well. And I think a lot of that comes from not being able to navigate failure and losing. I mean, that's a part of learning. So not being afraid of putting your child out there to compete because of a fear of failure, fear of losing, mainly because everything's a competition. We talk about scholarships. You see the number of kids that are going after scholarships, especially if you're talking about selective colleges and universities. All these, who was it? I forgot. It might have been NC State, matter of fact. We had like 44,000 or something like that application, and accepted 7,000 or something wild like that. Wow. It's like the competition is out there. So allowing your kids to compete earlier on and not try to shelter them away from competition. And if they compete and they lose, okay, let's figure out what we need to do next time. We need to do better. Because what I've seen that too is now kids have lost that desire to compete, and now they've been diminished effort. Like there's so many kids I run into that are not giving it 100% because it's easier to say, well, I ain't get it because I ain't go there.
That's huge because I think what people lose sight of the fact in academic and athletic scholarships is, or that chase to get either one, is that it's a competitive event just to get accepted into a college. And then now you want that same school to actually just invite you in, without taking into account financial compensation for it. And so you mentioning that competition piece is huge. We're gonna come right back. We've got to take a break, and we're gonna be joined by another guest. And I'm looking forward to getting both of you on the same set, the same time, and so we can get at it. Shoot me where we're going.
Oh, we outside. We outside. Listen, this is the HBCU homecoming edition.
Wake
More
up,
specifically,
it's homecoming.
The North Carolina Central University edition.
It was like the Disneyland of black people. The happiest, most melanin-filled place on earth.
HBCUs are very important to the black community because there was a time when we couldn't attend other universities to further our education, and these schools were created for black people so that they could further their education, better themselves, and be around like-minded individuals. Let's talk about homecoming. Homecoming is a very, very unique and special time at all schools, but more specifically HBCUs. When we say we're coming home, it's like really coming home. You're coming back to the experience you had around others that look like you, spoke like you, came from environments and backgrounds like you, and have gone through some of the things that only black people go through in our world. So coming home is a very special and intimate time.
I would like to take this time, this special moment, and introduce or welcome Mr. Joseph L. Biggs Jr. Although he has multiple college degrees and decades of experience in education, business, and leadership, he humbly lists himself as a fantastic father, incredible son, terrific brother, professional, educator, sports fan, football fanatic, dapper dude, music lover, bourbon and cigar lover, stand-up guy, for the culture, community-oriented, loyal friend, widower, North Carolina Central University alum, Omega man, and really outside Mr. Joseph L. Biggs Jr. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Man, what's up with you guys? What's up with you guys, man? Good to be here. Good to be here.
Man, listen, I appreciate you the opportunity to get you on. I want to jump right in. I got a question for you, and then we're getting ready to start peppering you guys with questions. And I want your expert opinion. I want to keep mentioning the fact that I have a panel of experts, because I don't want any comments. I don't want any DMs. I don't want any messages from my producer later. Such and such said what they were thinking about. We ain't doing no debate. This ain't a debate show. If you're looking for Skip Bayless, he ain't here. Last I heard, he was fired. All we're speaking today is the truth, and that's all we want to talk about. First of all, I want to give you the opportunity, because I know that you come from, you were raised by not one, but two educators.
Yes, sir.
I'm definitely, I'm going to assume that you're very well versed in that old encyclopedia that Dr. Simpson brought up in the second.
Oh yeah, I was listening, and that expensive, a good encyclopedia was New World.
New World. That was it. That was it.
That was the beige and brown joints. Beige and brown joints.
Yeah.
Those were in my house.
Come on now. Come on.
Y'all had the expensive stuff. All right.
It was the World book.
Hey, well, you know, my grandmother, elementary school teacher, so she got hers on whatever little payment plans they would allow school teachers to get. You know, hey, America been trying to keep school teachers in debt since the beginning of time. Hey,
we're gonna pay you a little bit, and then we're gonna keep you in debt.
Hey, we want you to be the smartest, but we don't want you to be the richest. If you could tell us an experience, just from your experience, right, growing up with two educators as parents, just give us some kind of idea of what that path was like.
Well, to give you that, I'm gonna give you a quick background of both parents. My mom's from Longburn, North Carolina. She's from a family of entrepreneurs, right? So she had I guess for that time period, she was a little more upscale, right? My dad is from Princeton, North Carolina, which was the oldest black town in North Carolina, founded by freed slaves. The way he used to say it is, he was so poor, everybody around him didn't know. He had one pair of pants, and when you could see his whole, and the other pair, you could see his whole. Yeah, so they went to college in Philly State and met each other, fell in love, and then later on produced me and my sister. Education was always a priority in our household. But when it was time to go to college, my dad gave us choices. He said, you can go to college and I'll take care of 4 years. You can go to the military and let them take care of you. You can go and get a job, get your own place, or you can get a job, stay here and pay me rent. It's all up to you. So, you know, I didn't want to go to the military and have people telling me what to do. I wasn't going to stay at home and pay rent in the room I've been in the whole time. And so college seemed like the easiest route, especially since they had set that example of education growing up, right?
Yeah. Quick question, and take as long as you need on the answer, though. So I want to give you the opportunity as an educator, as a child of educators, as a parent of two college students, give us some idea about how you see gentle parenting working in practice.
It's not. It's not. You know, I still on a daily basis. It's cush out here now. And I say that because it's not only just the parents, it's our society as a whole. I was listening to you guys earlier. You were talking about sports and competition. You were talking about bringing your son up at 2, 3 years old and having him compete and practice, and he had to go through things. You know, face to failure. Dr. Omar said, they don't. That's not happening now. That's not happening now. Parents are listening to the child. Whatever the child says is 100% what goes. They don't care. They come into the building, coming directly at the administration. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? What are y'all doing? Why don't you do? Y'all got to do. You know, everything falls on the school and those within the school building, right? And nothing is falling on the parents or society. So it's crazy.
Wow. That mirrors a lot of the conversations that we hear. I know when I was teaching at Carolina, the companies that would come to campus to recruit through over the years, those recruiters, the conversations became different, right? They used to come to campus like, hey, we're looking for the best and the brightest. We're looking for this. We're looking for that. And after a while, it became like after internships, we would get back, notes or whatever, or reviews, and they were just, hey, so they were hard to train. They thought they knew how to do everything already. Too much pushback, this and that. When you talk to the student, they would tell us, yeah, I didn't feel like I was being heard. I mean, you're talking about companies like, well, I'm not gonna mention the companies, but you're talking about top 100, top 500 companies, been around decades, worth multiple billions of dollars on a market cap, and here we are sending, very smart, highly intelligent undergraduate college juniors to their companies, and they come back. The experience sounds mutual. Like companies are sounding like, hey, yeah, basically I ain't really feeling it. Like we were looking for a mentor. We were looking for an intern, and come to find out we had got a CFO, right? And then when you talk to the students were basically, yeah, I found this and I was trying to get them to correct this and this and that. Like they were doing everything but their job. Like, here's the job description. They're gonna basically do the whatever's required. I actually had I used to have this question that I would ask some students when we were doing our mock interviews, and the question was always, if this is what's required, this is what's below what's required, and this is going above and beyond. If you were given a task to do, what would you do? And I'll never forget, very intelligent and capable young lady said to me, after she answered all the other questions, to that question she said, and I quote, well, as far as what would I do, I would do what was required of me. And simple, that's what's required of me. Like, anyways,
not ready to compete.
Not ready.
That has been not just what you're saying now, Dr. Omar, but what we've been hearing for years on the front. And I mean, I don't want to steal a quote, but it sounds like the chickens are coming home to roost. We've got to take a break, and we're going to come back, and I'm going to pepper you guys with a few more questions before we get you guys out of here.
So overall, how was the Omar Simpson speech for you guys, and how did it impact you?
So for me, it was very inspiring. He motivated me a lot, especially right now that it's like finals. I'm coming to the end to graduating right now, so it's kind of like motivating me to finish strong and kind of keep looking at things with a purpose now more. He touched on a lot that I was doubting myself on, so I feel like it was it came at the right moment, especially right now. So I really appreciate it.
I like the stuff that he was talking about with
Fellas, welcome back. I've got some questions that are just dying to be answered by experts. Let's start out with Dr. Omar, the college admissions and scholarship playbook, how your kids should be branding themselves for college applications, the best extracurricular activities or whatever that would boost scholarship chances. I do remember when I was at Carolina, hearing somebody in admissions actually tell a student that had come over with their parent that the exact words were, hey, when you go to high school, your mother's telling me that you're playing basketball. This is the University of North Carolina. We don't just want you to be we don't want to look on your application and see that you were just a basketball player. We want to see that you were captain of the basketball team. And this is a kid that wasn't, not coming for a basketball scholarship, but if you can kind of give us some ideas around that college admissions and scholarship playbook, and especially how they navigate the college application and the financial aid process, please.
Yeah, so I can speak to, so of course, every path is different. Depending on the type of college or university you're thinking about, everybody's going to ask for different things or look for different things. I can speak to like some of the most selective colleges and universities, and I think many people hear about being well-rounded. What that actually means in a practical sense. One, the academic is got to be there no matter what. Some people think, oh, well, I may not be that great at school, but I'm president of this, I'm good. For some schools, yeah. But if we think about the most selective schools, the academics still have to be there. So GPA grades, test scores, and all of that. Like one, let's start there. Then as far as you were saying, like what activities and things to get involved with, what you just mentioned, I think was huge. As far as not even just being the captain of a team, but just having real data that shows that you are a leader in some type of capacity. Whether it was a captain of a team or whether it was, president, vice president, or whatever from club or activity. Or one thing that I've seen has been like still in my mind, when I see students come in and they're saying, hey, I started this service program. I did this walkathon for such and such, or whatever cause, and I set it up where I had the community come out and they did this, that, and we took that money and then we donated this. Or, hey, I started this business on my own, or not on your own, but went out, started a business or something. Some type of community impact, some type of community change, showing leadership in some way. I mean, just I could go on forever. Some of the things that I hear stories from the students that I had the pleasure to work with. But as far as activities, it has to academics number one, but then leadership in some way, and some type of community impact, some way impacted the community. Because what colleges are looking at, one, if we bring you in, will you be able to excel? Like, we're not bringing you in just to bring you in. We're bringing you in because we want to see you at graduation and be able to say, hey, that person graduated from our school. The other thing is think about, okay, how are you going to impact our college community? So if you're somebody coming in, it's like, okay, well, I don't know how to impact the community that I'm in. I'm impacting my school community. Now to a college, it's like, okay, well, this is somebody we can bring into our community and our culture, and they're going to have a positive impact on our community. So just finding ways to do that. And that could be any organization that you're involved in high school or school in any way, or out of your high school organizations at the time, a community organization that you get involved with, and find leadership. And that's the thing, getting out there and being a leader.
That's one of the things that I'm sorry, was that Mr. Biggs? Were you going to say something? Okay, yeah. So that's one of the things that I feel like I remember having to tell my own kids. Even though they were all going on scholarship, I'm always telling them, hey, scholarship is an investment. Like, schools don't just look at a particular child and says, oh my God, we've got to have them because they're going to be the greatest child, greatest student that's ever touched the face of the earth. No, they're looking at you as an investment. So when you get there, that's just the beginning. If you just got a scholarship to go to a certain school, I was always reminding my kids, hey, make yourself valuable while you're there. Join an organization, start an organization, create things, this and that. So yeah, I love to hear some of the things you just touched upon. Mr. Biggs, the role of Black parents in educational excellence, kind of breaking any kind of generational cycles of student debt and financial struggle, why Black parents need to take an aggressive role in their children's education, any kind of cultural and societal factors that hold Black kids back that you may perceive. and how to overcome them. Just anything that would, any kind of nuggets that you can give on both ends. Obviously, since you're a high school administrator, and so you kind of sit, and you've been at the middle school level as well, and obviously a college graduate yourself. You can kind of give us some kind of experience on that whole pendulum. You're muted. You're muted. You have yourself muted.
Oh, my fault. My fault. I think what Black parents need to do from day one, from infancy, is start emphasizing the importance of education. Right. I'm not going to sit here and say because a child goes to college, they're going to be a millionaire, billionaire. You know, that may not be true. But I think college experience and education opens up avenues for us. It helps us create networks. It lets us meet other people. It lets us be, as Black people, more well-rounded. Because we all know we have to go through it, right? I think we get caught up a lot of times in what we perceive to be our Blackness. And what I mean by that is stereotypical things, using slang, we drug dealing, you know, we doing all those other type things. And you see that in the school system with a lot of parents, although they have kids that may be intelligent, young Black kids, some parents still hold them back, adhering to a hood mentality. And I think we need to just break that cycle. If we can break that cycle, we'll see a whole lot of more excellent students coming out that are looking like us. I always use the analogy when we talk about guys in the hood as drug dealers and stuff. There's some of the best CEO minds and business minds in the world. You know, perfect example of that is we see how Jay-Z has moved. We see how 50 Cent has moved. And they come from that culture, right? So you don't have to necessarily have that educational business background. It can help you and open up some avenues. But I think some of the things that are instilled in us as Black people that come naturally help us out when it comes to business and in education.
What about, and I want both of you to kind of chime in on this, and you can kind of pat it back and forth if you need to, but this whole thing about building strong, independent, and career-ready kids, you know, that financial literacy piece, how early that should start, what it even means. You know, Dr. Simpson talked about earlier about leadership skills, things of that nature, and what parents. I want you to touch on that. I want you to touch on some networking piece as well. Career readiness is, you know, whatever age that looks like it deems appropriate. And what parents should do is how I want to wrap that up. What parents should be doing to ensure that their kids can thrive in their careers post grad. Dr. Simpson, if you could lead us off.
You want to go?
Can you say that one more time?
Give us some idea about how we should be looking at, as parents, we should be looking at our kids or helping our kids as far as building strong, independent, and career-ready kids. How important is financial literacy before college, and how do they develop these leadership skills that you mentioned early on that were so important? I know a lot of our kids don't often come to college even knowing as much about networking. Like they've heard of networking, but we know that there's a skill to networking. So just kind of giving us some piece on, if I'm a parent of a child, how do I, and let's assume I haven't been to college myself, or, even if I have, I definitely haven't been in the 2020s. What should I be doing to prepare my child so that not only they get to college, because now that they get to college, college starts. And so we want them to be successful when they're there so that they're career ready. So what were some of the, what would be any advice that you would give a parent?
Yeah, so there's about 10 things that I'm going to touch on there. I'm going to hit on one and pass it over. Speaking to the networking piece, and I think it was mentioned how important that is at any age, at any space along the educational journey. I've seen some young people just blow me away with their social networking skills. Not even, digital space and being able to network on the digital side of things, a whole nother world. And there's many that are doing their thing. But for parents, one, helping their child or their children build the skills necessary to successfully be able to network. That is just having basic conversation, which I think, and I wrote about that for the level of education, as far as just working with your child on having a simple conversation, asking questions, being thoughtful in your response, listening, being able to hold a conversation and go back and forth with someone. I think that's a lost art for many. And there's even with students that I see now in the college space, there's a clear difference. You can tell some who have certain social skills and some who just aren't there yet. So kind of helping them develop conversations, being able to interact and engage with anyone. Those who are uber successful or whatever, accomplished, their peers, anybody, being able to just have that dialogue. But then even with those skills, putting them in the spaces where they can practice those skills, whether it is going to events, taking them to different things that are happening in the community or colleges or whatever, and then letting them know and just have those conversations and learn. Fail, say, I mean, that was a little awkward, that didn't go right, or whatever it is. Or, oh man, I picked up this question, I'm gonna use that later, or whatever, just to get that experience is huge. And I'll say even one, when we going back to, I can't stop saying it, going back to competing and standing out, understanding that there's others that want what you want. When we talk about scholarships, when we talk about schools, there's a lot of other people who do the same thing. You have to compete to be able to stand out. And I remember I went to a social event for high schools talking to similar stuff. And I remember I finished having a conversation with one student. He was like, "Hey, do you mind if I give you my digital business card?" And I remember like, "Excuse me?" And he was like, "Yeah, just grab this QR code and it's going to pull up my info." And I'm like, "All right," I grabbed it. All this stuff came up. This little digital business card that, excuse me, was like an immediate download. And I was just like, damn, I never forgot. He stood out to me of everybody that was in there, just simple stuff like that. So I'll pass it along, but just working on those social skills and then, excuse me, getting in those environments.
Mr. Biggs.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Dr. Omar said. You got to put your kids in the arena. Keep them around like-minded individuals or people that will pull things out of them. It could be adult, because that can be uncomfortable for a child to have to sit there and hold a conversation with an adult. Well, if they can hold it with an adult, they can definitely hold it with their peers. I think one of the biggest obstacles today is the text message, because they're text heavy. So you start losing that skill of conversation. So we got to start taking the phones away from the kids and having them talk to us at dinner. Have them talk to grandma. No, don't pick up the phone and call your grandma and talk to her, your uncle, and things of that sort. Write a letter to your grandmother, right? So we can pull those type skills out of them. As far as career ready, I think we have to watch our children as they're growing up and see what things they're interested in, and then steer them towards those things. My son played flag football for me. He did very well, but playing a sport was not his interest. So I didn't push that a lot. I saw that he had an interest in books, and my daughter did too. So I flooded them with books and let them read. And as we were going along, I started seeing that my son was leaning toward medical professions. He was asking questions about things from doctors and asking doctor questions. So pushed him towards people that were doctors, so he could be in that arena. Because I always believe we're the sum of the 5 people we hang around most. If you hang around with 5 people, you should be number 6, right? So later he switched. He was interested in law. My daughter is a social media maven. She speaks well, she reads well. And so she was interested in marketing. She started helping a lady in high school while she was in high school, push her business out there and things like that. She took a marketing class. So I just encouraged her and put her around people. You know, some of my friends are big time entrepreneurs. I kept her around them, right? So that type of thing. We just got to see where they are and then feed them aspects of where they want to be.
I want to. I'm pressed. We're up against a break, our final break, and I know I've got to let both of you guys go. So I definitely want to give you a chance, Dr. Omar. I'm going to bring you up, and I want to see if you can go kind of give us your final thoughts before we begin to let you guys go.
Yes, sir. Man, this is exciting to get to share some space with you two good brothers and talk some good stuff and share some stuff for the good folk. I'll say, you know, as I've said this whole time, help your kids in position to compete, be able to handle and deal with failure, losing. Understand failure is a luck. That it is something that it's a gift to be able to experience. So we don't want to shy away from it or shy away from competing because we're afraid of failing or losing. But that's what learning happens. It's my jam. I'm all about learning. You only learn by doing. Learning always is social activity. So as we talked about earlier, as far as the networking, getting out there with people, as the good brother was saying, you know, put the phone down for a second and engage with some folks, and lean in that way. The other thing, real fast, as was mentioned, leaning into the kids' curiosity, even if it's about things that you may not be aware of, learn with people. Right. I've seen several kids like, man, I love gaming. And parents are like, put the game down. You need to do this. You have to become a doctor. I mean, some of these gaming folks are making great money. They're becoming IT people. Some of them are leading the way right now in generative AI, and so on and so forth. Lean into that. They're like, I love gaming. You know, I love how this stuff works. All right, well, let's find out more about how this stuff works, and let them lean into whatever it is that it's about, they care about. And I'll with this, like, you know, and I mentioned it, I think, in the video that was played here. Like, don't worry about this whole idea of kids being some asking, what do you want to be this stock answer if they want to be, you know, I want to be this thing. No, like, how do you have impact in this world? And let that to drive whatever it is that you later become. That may change. We see how AI is working now. If they say they want to be something, that something may not even exist in 10 years when it's time for them to go be it. So if they want to solve something, solve problems, that can lead into a world of different possibilities. So yeah, allow those kids to be curious, allow them to compete.
Before I let you guys go, Mr. Biggs, final thoughts.
I just reiterate everything that Dr. Omar said. I will say this as well. We can't wait to middle school to start trying to push academics on our children. It starts from day one, as soon as they're born. I mean, I remember having my son and my daughter when they were, you know, months old. I would say, when I would dress them, right arm, left arm, right leg, left leg, head. And so it became such a repetition that I could say right arm, and we would raise their right arm. Kids are such sponges all the way up until about 5th, 6th grade, maybe. They absorb everything. So let's be like a fire hose. Give them everything. Give them everything. They'll take it. They'll remember it. They'll mimic it, and that starts the path. And if you put them in situations, I remember my mom had us read books every summer and give a report, right? So those type things, we dread them while they're happening, but then later on they pay off. They pay off. So I made my kids read. I made them write a little report, give it to me. Let me read it. It might not have been the 3 sentences, but the fact was they were doing it, right? So they were getting accustomed. You build upon that. So now when they get to college, they're used to it.
Man, listen, both of you guys touched on a couple things that, man, I just want listen, man. those are just two nuggets right there alone, right? Competing. And man, bring back those book reports, man. But,
I need a fire emoji or something. I want to.
Hey, listen, I know with AI and all the other platforms, you ain't gonna get a real book report. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Selfishly, I don't even know if I want these kids to have to do book reports to learn, or just because I had to do them. And boy, they was mercilessly, boy, oh my God, a book report? Man, can I just get that whipping? Let me just get that whipping.
Yeah,
for real.
do me in, right?
What? So I appreciate both of you gentlemen. Dr. Omar, I thank you. If you want to shout out any handles, go ahead and do so. Oh, this is gonna be good.
Oh, stop. No. Yeah, OmarSimpson.com. You can get access to everything. On Instagram, Omar_Simpson. Same thing on Facebook. Real fast, just want to summarize. We're talking about education. We're talking about early learning. I have a kids activity book that just launched. Just want to share that, put that out there. Great activities for kids, things that they're talking about and going over. And it's something I love, and I've been pushing for parents to be able to work with their kids as they go through some of these things. So it's not sending you off to schools, it is responsible for the learning. Now, when they come home, let's have this activity book, paper and pen, let's get after it together and learn. So, yeah, check me out, OmarSimpson.com. They're out there. And also email simpson.omar@gmail.com. Always willing to answer questions and help out. If anything that I can offer that could be helpful, hit me up.
Appreciate you, Dr. Omar. Mr. Biggs.
Yeah, man. Instagram, JBiggs2. Facebook, Joe Biggs, Joseph Biggs. You can catch me on either one of those. And then definitely saw the clip when he did my introduction. Outside with Big. Outside on the All Bull Network. Make sure you keep looking for that. And that's it, man. To the parents, just get involved in your child's life. Ask them questions, speak to them, talk to them about current events. Give them books, give them books, give them books. Take the phone away a little bit. Check in with the teachers. Be involved. And don't be so quick to listen to your child's side of the story. Hear the whole story and find the truth somewhere in there and act accordingly.
Appreciate you. Tell you like my mama used to tell me, the child ain't got no side. Thank you, fellas. Until next time, we jumping out like we jumped back in.